The exterior design was a success and few people will be indifferent to this car. But the quality of the paintwork, as before, leaves much to be desired, thin and soft. Chips can appear anywhere from traditional sills and wheel arches to roof and body pillars. At the moment, there are few cars in poor cosmetic condition, but given how quickly small scratches and chips appear on the body, this trend will not last long. Of the main disadvantages of body iron, it is worth highlighting its insufficient hardness, but the metal is not prone to corrosion, galvanized. Problem areas include only the roof and front pillars, on which paint can swell and chips bloom quickly. It is worth noting that this problem is typical for many models of the brand and is eliminated under warranty. Machines made in Russia often have assembly errors, such as uneven joint gaps on the hood and trunk lid. Defective door handles were installed. Among the weak points of the body equipment, poor wear resistance of the windshield is noted. It is quickly rubbed with brushes, and when the temperature drops, it becomes covered with cracks. Most often, a breakdown occurs when the heating of the wipers is activated. Another unpleasant disadvantage is the tendency to fogging headlights, not tight enough. The rear light seals and the trunk lid are not very successful. They can let moisture into the trunk. Powertrains under the hood of the Kia Cerato YD, well-known naturally aspirated engines were installed. The 1.6 Gamma G 4FG series, 130 HP, and the 2.0 new G4 NA series, 150 HP. Both engines have a reliable timing chain drive, the resource of which, as a rule, exceeds 200,000 kilometers. Among the shortcomings, it is necessary to highlight the absence of valve lifters in the 1.6-liter engine. Gap adjustment is required by selecting pushers. Among the weak points, it is worth noting the catalyst, which, depending on the quality of the fuel used, begins to break down after 150,000 kilometers. If the part is not replaced in a timely manner, its particles will enter the combustion chambers and form burrs, scratches, on them, which cause progressive oil burn. Also, oil consumption may increase after the internal combustion engine overheats. The fact is that an aluminum cylinder block with an open cooling jacket and thin liners with a low degree of rigidity is used here, due to which, when overheated, the cylinder profile turns from perfectly round into an elliptical one. Another disadvantage of the owners of Cerato 3 is the loud operation of the nozzles, the tendency to dirty the throttle. During pollution, the speed floats, a small resource of engine mounts, a water pump, a generator clutch, and seals. The resource of the internal combustion engine with proper maintenance and timely replacement of the catalyst will be about 350,000 kilometers. Kia Cerato YD. Buyers can choose from two types of transmissions, a 6-speed manual M6 CF1 and an automatic A6 GF1 with the same number of gears. The mechanical gearbox is generally reliable, but its clutch mechanism can spoil the nerves. Of the main ailments, the appearance of clutch pedal play after 50,000 kilometers is noted. To eliminate the disease, you need to replace the worn plastic push rod of the clutch master cylinder. Closer to 100,000 kilometers, the release bearing cable drive of the gear selection scenes make themselves felt, needs adjustment. The clutch kit is on average enough for 140,000 kilometers. If the car is operated in the slipper on the floor mode, by 150,000 kilometers, the shaft bearings will begin to buzz. With careful operation, their resource will be 300,000 kilometers. For cars manufactured before 2014, such troubles as corrosion of the input shaft are possible. The automatic machine is no less reliable, but more sensitive to the quality of service. Oil must be changed every 50,000–60,000 kilometers. Of its main shortcomings, the presence of tangible shocks during braking is noted. The weak points of the automatic transmission include the hydraulic plate, which painfully endures dirty oil and overheating. Unfortunately, many owners believe that the transmission can work its entire life without maintenance, declared by the manufacturer, which is why after 100,000 kilometers most cars require repair of this part. It is worth noting that the operation of a car with a faulty valve body leads to a decrease in lubrication pressure and the resource of the mechanical part of the gearbox. Closer to 150,000 kilometers, oil seals and bushings need to be replaced. Of the less common breakdowns, one can single out the failure of the loop wiring of the solenoids, the lubricant temperature sensor, and the oil pump. There are complaints and unreliability of the pallet gasket. If there are leaks, it is better to replace the gasket immediately rather than trying to tighten the bolts, as this is fraught with breakage of the plastic pan, cracks. It is also worth avoiding prolonged slippage, as this can disrupt the splines of the differential housing. Symptoms: there is a strong crunch in the box. Reliability of the suspension, steering and brakes. KIA Cerato YD. The KIA Cerato 3 uses an independent suspension with MacPherson struts in front and a beam mounted at the rear. Of the operational shortcomings, it is worth highlighting the noise of operation, excessive rigidity, low suspension travel, and lack of energy intensity. There are also complaints about the behavior of the car at a speed of 120 km per hour or more. The stern throws up on bumps, it starts to shy away from right to left. The problem is solved by installing other springs and shock absorbers. If we talk about the weak points of the suspension, then here, first of all, it is necessary to note the unreliability of the rear springs, which for many sag without even serving 100,000 kilometers. The stabilizer consumables also have a small margin of safety. The resource is 80,000 kilometers. Hub bearings, depending on the size of the wheel, can withstand 130,000 kilometers. Shock absorbers serve at least 100,000 kilometers, but ball and silent blocks of levers can last 150,000 kilometers or more. The rear suspension, if not killed, deliberately nurses it for more than 200,000 kilometers. Later it may be necessary to replace the silent blocks of the beam. In the steering, a rack and pinion mechanism is used, supplemented by an electric booster. As with previous generations, the weak point of the rail is the right bushing. It breaks, which in most cases makes itself felt at a range of 130,000 kilometers. It starts knocking. But the reliability of the amplifier is highly dependent on the year of intake of the car. So, for example, on pre-styling versions, as a rule, there are no problems with the assembly, but after the upgrade, the owners began to often complain about the presence of extraneous noise when turning the steering wheel. The official service solves the problem by replacing the steering column assembly with the ewer. The reliability of the brakes at the moment does not raise questions. Salon and electrics inside the KIA Cerato YD looks no worse than outside, and the level of equipment allows you to satisfy the basic needs of modern motorists. But the quality of some interior trim materials leaves much to be desired. There are also complaints about their durability. So, for example, the steering wheel braid and seat upholstery lose their presentation after 70,000 kilometers. The front panel also resists the appearance of traces of operation. Plastic is scratched. Also, the owners of the cabin include its creakiness and poor sound insulation to the disadvantages of the cabin. Despite a good arsenal of electronics, complaints about failures in their work are very rare. May fail: the power window control unit on the driver's door, multimedia, central locking, and climate system. Some owners have experienced a malfunction of the steering wheel buttons caused by a broken steering column cable. KIA Cerato YD, despite the improvement in appearance and richer equipment as before, does not cause much trouble during operation. The only thing that requires close attention is the catalyst, since its failure is fraught with costly engine repairs. The remaining faults are minor and easily fixed. If you are the owner of this car model, please describe the problems that you had to face during the operation of the car. Perhaps it is your review that will help readers of our site when choosing a car.